For the lovely IHP content, it's always going to be resonating more with a 5D collective than not. The 5D collective is a term that I'm just using since being in that lovely community of mysticism. Claire's ascension, people have for a long time, feels like a long time. 2007 is whenever I came across the news of 5D and the beginning of my journey into Claire land, which I love knowing that neuroscience and existential physicists or just theoretical physicists and the entire actual physicist community knows about. Not the ones who call us machines and whatnot. Those are the middle people. So we're a lot of middle people. I'm a middle person too. But the difference is that I appreciate scientific methodology and I actually do get educated through lovely trauma-informed and then through my own experience as a person with Claire's, which I always wondered, okay, how am I going to share that lovely lightworker's journey? Well, 5D collective it is. So it's a mix of the human elements, the spiritual and spirituality, because these are subject matters. Let me be very straightforward. 5D collective, we don't have hierarchies of you're somebody that has a doctor's degree. I don't care what you have. You're a person. I don't care who you are, you're going to be a person. Now, law, systems, those are two different things. And as a citizen of a country or not a country, whatever, I've met a person who basically was in the process, I don't know if they were successful, but in the process of being a person with no country. And in fact, it was one of the most interesting experiences I ever had because I'm a curious person. So 5D collective people, we're intelligent ones, we wander. We don't have a sensitive ego, and that's because we are actually emotionally, functionally adults, meaning we know that I have an ego, you have an ego, and it's okay. We don't have to agree on opinions. The one thing that a 5D collective person will be much more aware of, and it's well-rounded, is the part of I don't live in your body or your head. And for as stupid as it may seem, I'll ask you the same questions again and again because I won't make up an assumption based on stereotypes, generalization, and a lot of other things that the adaptive child, emotionally immature and insecure people, and that's where we have charged states, all human beings do because we have an embodied brain, which means it's a brain and a nervous system, and thank goodness for the entire mental health community who cares about the well-being of humanity, not the ones who make up stories with the data. The ones who do the storytelling, that's for people who have interests in storytelling. The 5D collective has interests in let's help the world, make it a better place for you and for me and for the entire human race. There are people dying, and how about we take care of the living? Let's make it a better place for you and for me. So all topics are important. Global citizens is, in fact, the 5D collective, and we're not picking sides because we are mature emotionally speaking. So unlike a 2-year-old in my household, there's plenty of my 2-year-old when I'm trying to figure something out with my immediate family. But when it comes to the global world, I'm not going to be selfish. If it's in my own room, I'm going to be selfish, yes. And I won't be ashamed about it either. So there are these aspects, the shame button, we don't have one, 5D collective. You poke us, love comes out. Thank you, Sadhguru. Even without inner engineering or Sadhguru, but I love seeing the man create a conscious planet, and he's going to be in a conference with Harvard, and I don't get to go because, I'm not there, and it's for college students, and I'm not a college student anymore. But no, really, it's because it's expensive, and it's for people who are getting a degree. It has credit hours, so if anybody is into, I think it's cognitive psychology or something like that. So he's going to be talking to physicists, psychologists. Deepak Chopra is there. It's going to be awesome. I hope that I get to see something for free on YouTube because I'm curious to see how it goes because I've seen him when he's with educators and how some of them even say, yeah, no, but you have to do human suffering. And I love when he's like, no, you don't. I'm like, yeah, right on, Sadhguru. We don't have to because some of us love button. So we don't make fun of people who do human suffering, but apparently people who do human suffering don't think there can be people like I who don't do human suffering. Let's go back to 5D collective and love button. So we all have an emotional body. And we also have this thing called the seed of empathy or something about empathy. So when a person who's an infant doesn't get the attachment, the attunement, the necessary, practice of being able to regulate their nervous system in their own household into the ventral vagal nervous system, they will not learn how to be resilient, quote unquote. It's not like it's a competition, but basically rigidity and chaos are the unhealthy of a person. And when an adaptive child, emotionally speaking, they ain't children. It's the suppression, the ignoring of emotion. There's a lot of different ways. Just watch a movie, you'll see what I'm talking about, because they've made it pretty cool to be the not optimal version of you as a human. So here's where 5D Collective, we love being human. Yes, I may have clairs. I am not from the stars. I have an organic body. And yes, I understand the entire concept of consciousness from the spirituality realm, which is why I love when I get to read Sadhguru's quotes and know how a 5D mystic is Krishna, Leela, Shiva, and Kali. And I love when he talks about Krishna and Jesus's energies. And then it's fascinating to hear the metaphysics esotericism story of Jesus or of Christ consciousness, and I'm like, I'm not sure I like how you're going about creating so many different archetypes. Sounds like a lot of movies going on versus just basic history, and then putting into question like a whole bunch of other series. No wonder we have flat earthers again. So everybody has different interests in, thank you, Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor, who's also a therapist and who has supported a lot of aspects that I get to talk about because he gives me good examples, plus my trauma-informed therapist who inform me also of what the inner child does when the adaptive child is in the room protecting that inner child. So as Patrick Tiahan points out, there are people who hurt people who don't know that they can get support. There are people who play games. They don't know they're playing games because they were gaslit and manipulated their entire life, so they don't have any idea that they have unresolved trauma, because they also don't believe in the emotions being important or the emotional body. They don't know that they're feeling I'm off because I feel disconnected from emotions is an actual thing, because your body had to protect you because it wasn't able to get the right amount of attunement. And it's not because your parent didn't try. We don't know what happened to your parent. They have unresolved trauma. This is what transgenerational trauma means. But nobody apparently believes in the updated scientific methodology because it sounds way too simple to say there's no devil or demon in the body of people, but that there is a series of events that create an embodied brain experience, and that, so I have the whole explanation. I'm not going to do it right now, but my lovely regular listeners have heard about our brain, and Julianne is the best one who explained how, I forget if it's neurons or whatever, but I'm going to hold that off, but I explained it to my lovely listeners. So the 5D Collective, we're mystics and educators. I'm personally a mystic because I do have woo-woo-ness in me, and I like being pseudoscience lady anyways because it's food for thought. The part that I wanted to end with is that we don't have prejudice, because the same way I know that I'm not in your body or brain and I don't know your story, I would expect you to know the same with me, which is why when I began with clairs, I wasn't ashamed of it. And to this day, I'm not. I was concerned with one thing alone, since my biggest thing are the panic attacks throughout this entire ascension stuff. I'm very much enamored with my oversoul, twin flames, soulmates, all that stuff. I have no issue with my loved ones, because loved ones do what they want to do and they be happy. I do what I want to do and I be happy. And if we want to hang out, we'll hang out. And if not, then it's cool, because that's what safe haven, secure base. That's what a Zen master, that's what a 5D person, that's what a grown-up knows how to do, because love ain't hard, it's easy. Because if you and I have fun together, there's no problemo, is there? And if we don't, true friendship, shit. And then we can love and hug it out. I got plenty of friends that I've done that with. So long story short, true confidence ain't a teenager. It's an adult who knows how to interact. But if you don't know about the importance of childhood trauma in your life, and you don't know about aspects that are important, then of course you're not going to know what you're doing. But hey, let's not do that, right? The movies and 4D readers with their karmics and third parties, and they put a finger in their ear. Like, how many times do we need to think of, I think of the movie Rocky, when he gave his son an earful about how dare you let somebody put a finger in your ear and tell you're not good enough, but who's the one who chose to allow himself to blame a father for being overshadowed? There's all these dynamics. Every person is the owner of how you approach life when challenges come about. Some of us easily chose love, others not so much, but at the end of the day, we can be compassionate and know neither one of us walks in the other's shoes. So having an opinion, of course, having the decency to know that you don't know that person's struggles and that you don't know how they were able to maybe handle it or not, and to, again, just remove yourself. The 4D readers or anybody who's judging humanity as pieces of shit, they don't know about unresolved trauma or about trauma memory, and they don't believe in it. I'm okay with them not believing in Reiki, even though it's energy worker and science has plenty of proof of it, but I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with people not believing in the scientific methodology that shares how our minds work It helps you to understand yourself and each other.